हाँ तो मेरे भाई और बहनों और दुश्मनों, आ जाओ एक बात करते हैं आज। हे कंसल्वस, क्या बात कर ले करे रे? हैं? आजा। See, you guys want me to speak more Hindi? There I am speaking more Hindi from my nostalgic 90 dialogues of course, the great Amitabh Bachchan. So anyway, today we're going to be talking about the circumstances of meeting your spouse. In the part one, we looked at exactly where you're going to meet your spouse. Today we're going to talk about the circumstances, which is actually a very unique thing. And this is part of 3 or 4 different layers, which we're going to go in sections. And also remember, on KRS Vlogs, I've put so many charts on analysis on Dasamsa chart of yours who are there. And especially you will see some very emotional feedbacks by people, because you can literally pinpoint things of what a person must do, whether you're an actor, IT person, doctor, surgeon, lawyer, whatever you're doing, manufacturing, exactly what you're going to do. And you can see this by the devatas in the dasamsha, which is very, very important. There's a layers of understanding that and seeing that, so you can get a whole picture of that. So that's in the description in Karis Vlogs and Kapiel Astrology Academy. And again, if you want to know anything about your marriage and relationship, you can go to karisastrology.com under shop section. But other than that, let's get started with the analysis of circumstances of meeting your spouse. And so remember, in this particular case, we're going to use Venus for women. Venus is women, but we're going to use Venus as a wife for man and Mars as a husband for a female. And if you're, let's say, gay, then you can use Mars. If you're lesbian, you can use a Venus. Okay, so both ways it'll work out. Okay, so let's not waste time and let's get started with this beautiful pen. Today's the second part of knowing. This is not how you're going to meet the spouse. This is actually the circumstances of meeting the spouse. This is the second layer. This is the ambience surrounding the spouse. So when you're dealing with this, what you're going to do is, if you're a female, you're going to pay attention to Mars. If you're a male, you're going to pay attention to Venus. And especially right now, I'm going to focus on the zodiac signs more than houses. So imagine that this is an Aries ascendant, and I am simply focusing on the signs, not even the houses. Okay. So for example, Mars is in the ascendant for women, and Venus is in the ascendant for men. And they're in the sign of Aries. Okay. So first of all, the main thing that occurs here is that when you meet this person, or when you're about to meet this person, you will see somehow a physical activity would be taking place, meaning they could be in a gym, playing a sport, okay, doing yoga, doing some form of exercise, focusing on their body. Maybe the day that, let's say, you messaged them online, maybe their head was hurting, they were taking some medicine for their headache. It was something concerning the body. They were probably shopping for their own clothes, for their own self. And you will see that this person will jump into messaging you. Okay, this person will jump into messaging you. They become very impulsive towards taking that action, that, hey, there's an action in my life and I'm going to give a reaction. Okay, I'm going to give a reaction to this particular opportunity that has come to me. And for them, it won't matter how you look, how you dress. They just want to make sure that you're there and yes, you're willing to talk to them. That's what they want. The very first thing that they want to know is that, okay, I'm a woman, a man is contacting me. Now, again, if let's say you're gay or lesbian, in terms of gay, you're going to focus on Mars. In terms of lesbian, you're going to focus on women. So that also will work in that same dynamic. Okay? Let's say Venus or Mars are in Taurus, you will see there's obviously going to be some concerning connected with food and banking and family occasions. During the circumstances you meet this person, maybe in that week you had to go to a bank to take care of something. Maybe before your first date with this person, your mother cooked some special meal and they're like, oh, you got to eat this. And you're like eating that for lunch. So food became quite significant in that particular manner. You will also see usually in case of women, they may actually go and buy some ornament for themselves, like earrings or necklace or something they were shopping. Why? Because again, what is the logic behind this? You're naturally activating these planets when they're in this sign of Taurus. Okay? When they're in the sign of Taurus, you're naturally activating that activity. And those are the circumstances of how you meet. Because everybody eats food usually on their first date, right? Especially when you've been talking to someone and you like them and you feel like, oh my God, I got to meet this person. Okay, let's go out. Why don't we go out to eat? So food is always going to be that. That's not what the whole thing is. But yeah, it becomes part of that. That usually it'll be something with fine dining. Then, Gemini. So Venus and Mars, either one of them, are a Gemini. Okay. In those particular circumstances, obviously, such a person will naturally be focusing on a lot of communication during that time period. During that time period, you're about to meet your spouse. You'll be calling everybody. You'll be texting a lot of people. You will emailing a lot of people. You will even either go to a movie theater, theme park, or even a sporting arena. You may pass by. Let's say you usually take your normal route from your work to your home. But now because of the traffic, you're like, no, I'm going to take this freeway and this highway. And that highway takes you right next to some sports arena. Like you're in LA on Figueroa Drive, and suddenly you now have to go towards the Ferguson, and then you make a left and you go to Staples Center. And from there you meet or you go home or wherever you need to go. Naturally, a person will be, let's say, in the gym or playing some sport when such an interaction would be taking place. Because remember, the first part, you're going to meet this person here, there. But now we're talking about the circumstances surrounding that particular time. There would be some major events connected with siblings, neighbors taking place here in the Gemini. Maybe suddenly neighbor wanted to talk to you about something connected with the fans. They were going to get that painted and, they were telling you about it. Hey, we're going to have workers here. And you're like, oh, okay. So these particular themes will become active. Okay. Fourth house, Cancer. Venus or Mars is here for men, and this one is for women. In the sign of Cancer, not the fourth house. They're in the sign of Cancer. So of course, there will be major themes related to mother, home, comfort, vehicles will be playing out. Maybe you're looking for a new vehicle. Okay. Maybe you bought a vehicle and suddenly now there's activities in your dating scenario. You bought some new furniture, something new for the home, while you were, let's say, trying to meet someone, hoping to meet someone. And this is not like you should do this to me. I'm talking about natural circumstances. Okay? That's why I always tell people, don't trust me, test me. Once you see this in your own chart, you will get to realize, okay, this is how these dynamics are working. And again, when I tell you these 3, 4, 5 layers in the coming weeks and months, especially if you're practicing astrologer, it will be just like a 5-6 second thing. to come to a conclusion what is going to be happening. Okay. And then, like for example, you could be even moving into a new home with this particular position in Cancer, because Cancer is no original 4th house, right? So it's not the 4th house, it's the 4th house energy. Cancer will always carry that 4th house energy. Like for a Cancer ascendant, even though it's the 1st house, which is supposed to be Aries, but Cancer is there, right? But for them, vehicles, home become very important. Mother's connection becomes very important. Then Venus, Mars are in the sign of Leo. So Venus will be for men, Mars will be for women. So naturally, you may have gone to a theater, fun activities, okay? Some stage performance you could be seeing. And especially in the sign of Leo, you would be interacting with some form of a celebration. Something related to children will be very much active. Maybe, for example, that week you and your friend are talking, you know, this is how I'm going to be when I'm a mother, or this is how I'm going to be when I'm a father. So that discussion of children, you were just automatically talking about it. Why? Because all the other energies, like your dasha, antradasha, progression, transits, are all now playing that, you know, key role to opening up that locker, and you're just now starting to feel that energy, and you may be engaging in that energy. And this is why it's so hard to explain if the chicken came first or the egg. What were you doing these activities that it became active, or was it meant to be and that's why it's making you do this activity? I don't know. Once I figure it out, you know, when I'm some kind of a yogi or a saint, I'll let you guys know. I probably won't be here if that's the case. Virgo. Venus is in this sign of Virgo or Mars. And Venus will be for men, Mars will be for women. This is Virgo. Okay. You might be coming off of some kind of a health issue, disease. Connections connected with deaths would become active. You may have gone to a relative's house to celebrate something. Maybe your uncle or aunt called about something. These would be the circumstances that would be surrounding when you're about to meet this person. Or especially when you meet this person, they will say, oh, I'm coming off of a cold. I would love to meet you, but, you know, let me get better. And, you know, let's maybe meet in 2 weeks or so. You will see these circumstances happen. Maybe you just went to a doctor's office for some regular checkup. And, you know, within that week or two, you were meeting that person. So that's how this will happen. Libra. Venus is in Libra or Mars. Okay. So this is not the 7th house. We're looking at Libra. And Venus will be for men. Mars will be for women. Well, in Libra, first of all, the energies were so intense. Like I said, with the dasha, transits, progressions, okay, that you were just completely focused on wanting to find someone. Like, even though your Venus is in Libra, you're not constantly focused on finding someone. You're maybe focusing on your promotion, your education, you know, but then there's these energies and transits that intensify them. Like, for example, if Jupiter right now is in Gemini, right? Jupiter is in Gemini. So now it's looking at the 7th house. You have one of these planets is now intensifying that energy to meet someone. There'll be some kind of a negotiations contract you may have to deal with. Okay. You may hear about somebody else getting married. Somebody else getting into a relationship. Somebody may call you about their relationship problem or issue. Or, hey, I found someone and I'm going steady with them now. Your friend calls. So these are the circumstances that will be playing when you're about to meet that person. Then Venus in the sign of Scorpio, Mars in the sign of Scorpio. Mars will be for women, Venus will be for men, and this is not 8th house, Scorpio, regardless of where it's placed. There will be some form of an emergency. Very mysterious, awkward circumstances that become active when you're about to meet this person. Maybe, let's say you're about to meet this person, suddenly they got into some major big issue that now you have to help them with that issue, even though you were just trying to meet them. Some sudden surprising event happens in your life. Like, for example, you suddenly get a promotion. You win some sudden lottery. You suddenly, out of nowhere, get a new car, even though you didn't expect to get a new car. And those will be the circumstances that would be active for you to meet this person. There will also be some form of secrecy, conspiracies that would become active. So these are the things that you will have to see. When you have this planet, these planets in this sign, those will be those circumstances. Okay? Sagittarius. Venus, Mars. So Venus will be for men, Mars will be for women. So if they're in the sign of Sagittarius. So first of all, during that particular time, you would be planning for some long road trip. You would be dealing with some banking related things. You may be hearing about, or you may be attending somebody's wedding, some ceremony. You may have gone to the temple that particular week that you have never gone before. You may have had some major dealing with the father. Maybe, let's say, father needed your help to fill out some paperwork related to the property. You helped your father, even though it has never happened. He never called you for these type of things, just called you for hi and hello. But now it was like something significant with the father. Maybe you were watching a lot of videos on gurus during that time period. Maybe you started seeing a psychologist. Actually, that may also happen with Scorpio as well, that I forgot to mention. You may start to see some psychologist, psychiatrist, because you're taking counseling. So you might be taking counseling during the time period when you will meet this person. You may be suddenly focused on some God. You may buy a book, some religious or spiritual book during this time, because 9th Sagittarius is publishing. Okay. 10th house. I'm sorry, not 10th house, Capricorn. So Venus is in Capricorn, or Mars is in Capricorn. Mars will be for women, Venus will be for men. Okay. Naturally, in your life, some kind of a sad occurrence takes place. Some disappointment happens when you're about to meet this person. That's the number one thing. Especially like somebody may try to hound you. Somebody's trying to it's like somebody's trying to come after you. Somebody's like focused on defeating you. Because what is the sign of Capricorn? And what is the name of this sign of Capricorn in Hindi or Sanskrit? It's Makar Rashi, crocodile. Crocodile is looking for that opportunity to grab the prey and eat it. At the same time, major themes related to profession will also occur. Because again, Capricorn is the original 10th house. So that means maybe you got some job, maybe you lost some job. In those circumstances, you met that other person. And this is something I've also said before. With Venus being in Capricorn and Aquarius, one has to deal with, first of all, disappointments in love before they find the right person. And especially when Venus is in Capricorn, don't rush into being with somebody that, hey, oh my God, I'm 25 years old, I met you, perfect, let's get married. No. It is, first disappointment comes in, then comes the duty of husband and wife role. Because it is Saturn. It shows you the reality, not the story of Raj and Simran from DDLJ. It shows you the story of Bhagwan actually. So those themes play out. Okay. And also you can have some theme play out related to father's family as well. Or maybe somebody in your maternal side of family may have given a birth to a child. And you may have gone to see that child. You may have heard about that news. Aquarius. Okay. Not the 11th house, the sign of Aquarius, regardless of where it's placed. So Venus or Mars. Okay, so Venus will be for men. Mars will be for women. Okay. So number one, you would have attended some conference, some social gathering, some activism. Maybe you were watching a lot of political videos, wanting to save the environment. Again, disappointments happen. Some disappointment will happen related to friends, social circles. It's not so much of friends, but social circles. People you're like, oh yeah, I know this person. It's not like you're always hanging out with them and talking to them. You always meet them at a party. You always meet them whenever you go. So it becomes that social gathering. Okay. Also, Venus and Mars, you could have injured your leg. Okay. Leg injury. Here, actually, could have happened with a knee injury. Knee injuries could have happened in Capricorn, which should have added that because I know nobody's gonna watch that past this sign for someone else. So, yeah, knee injuries can happen. Leg injury, like especially the shank area. But very eccentric situations become active because you gotta understand Scorpio and Aquarius are pretty much like fraternal twins. They're not identical twins. Aquarius and Scorpio are like fraternal twins in the zodiac's, family. They have a very similar characteristics, but Aquarius is just on a very awkward, weird plane. Like a Scorpio will be more secretive. Like there'll be more secret things happening. With Aquarius is an open book, but that open book is something like, whoa, I'm gonna have to take some time off to read this book. Those unusual circumstances takes place. That could be anything. Okay, I've had people who said I had Kundalini awakening or third eye awakening, and I also met my spouse during that time. This is how I got to figure out like, oh, yep, some awkward occurrences have happened. Okay. Then Pisces. Okay. So Venus and Mars are in the sign of Pisces. Mars will be for women. Venus will be for men. Okay. So number one, there's going to be some huge expense during that time. You may have done some luxury shopping during that time. You may have given donations during that time, started investing money during that time when you met this person. You were thinking about some foreign trip. You wanted to be in isolation. Usually, these circumstances happen when you may have, like especially Pisces and Scorpio, you broke up with someone and you want to be in isolation. You want to be in your own, secluded self. And that's when this new person comes in, who eventually becomes your spouse. Or you especially meet them in a very high-end luxury environment. Or like you will deal with some luxury high-end environment. Maybe you never, for the last 6 months, you never went to the mall. But this week you were just like, let me just hang out at the mall. And then you walked into a Louis Vuitton store, checked something, and you were like, oh, okay, I'm done shopping. That's good enough for me today. And those things became active. Maybe you had interaction with grandmother. Maybe grandmother passed away and then you met the person that you were supposed to meet. Okay, and especially with Venus and Mars, one will create too many desires. I don't want to say much here because I'm going to be doing Pisces blank chart predictions, because there's certain things about Pisces that usually people don't talk about. It's a storage of wish fulfillment with Pisces. They want too many wishes to be fulfilled at a certain time. Okay. Maybe you bought a fish aquarium. Maybe you're watching something connected with the ocean during that particular time period when you met this person. So again, this does not show that where you're going to meet this person Okay? Not even how, but it's showing what is going to now start churning when you're about to meet that person. Okay? And then level 3 will discuss something else. Because like I said, there's 3 or 4 levels to these things. So we're going to discuss that. And remember, I put the Dasamsa chart lessons. A lot of Dasamsa chart lessons I put on KRS vlogs, where especially concerning the Devatas. And once you see how, you can just look at the Devatas of the Dasamsa and know exactly where this person's success is going to come from. So you can check that out on Vedic Astrology Academy under KRS vlogs. Otherwise, if you need anything with marriage and relationship, you can go to KRSastrology.com. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.